Hey guys, welcome to this webinar with myself, Mike Bayer, CEO and co-founder of Vacation Rental Formula. We're very excited to have you here today for the Book Direct Tech Stack. You know me, I'm also a former property manager and property owner. When I was a property manager, I had my own property management business. So that was giving me a good insight into, the maintenance and marketing of properties and helping owners to, make their business succeed from the ground level. And joining me today is also my good friend and Chief Marketing Officer of Vacation Rental Formula, Jason Beaton. How's it going today, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mike. I hope everyone out there is doing great as well. So I'm really excited to kind of bring you guys this tech stack of how we use it within the Vacation Rental Formula, but also how we're using it for our clients as well.
Yeah, so Jason and I recently launched a pretty amazing service called the Big Kahuna service. And what we're doing is we're working directly hand in hand with, tends to be mid to larger property management companies. And we're getting a really good look inside what the deficiencies are in lots of different businesses. And it really is showing to be pretty consistent, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's not just within the vacation rental industry. These are kind of deficiencies that I see across the board in multiple verticals. So most small businesses are kind of lacking in these areas, but it's great that we can kind of provide the service and shore up from end to end that customer journey and ensure that we're maximizing any type of bookings and rebookings for direct traffic.
Yeah, so just tell us about some of these beautiful certifications you got here.
Yeah. So a couple of them are that we use actually very, very much so is the ActiveCampaign Certified Consultancy. I'm one of what used to be about 25, but it's now I think grown up to about 100 certified consultants with ActiveCampaign. And for those of you who don't know, ActiveCampaign is a business automation tool that includes email capabilities, sequencing, and some really advanced features to be able to target guests or return guests within email marketing, text message marketing, but also from a business operations standpoint. So being able to streamline some of these inquiries and frequently asked questions and autoresponders and things like that. So ActiveCampaign is a great tool for all that, and it's actually really easy to use.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the session because that's a big element of our tech stack, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. It's kind of like the hub of everything. And then the other one, the Certified Digital Marketing Professional from Digital Marketer, is really kind of how I got started in all this. That is a certification that I hold to help small businesses find out where they're, and it's not just a marketing perspective, but overall kind of where the slowdowns are in their business, where the deficiencies are. And kind of it's a formalized process that really walks through paid traffic, content, copywriting, funnels, analytics, data analytics, customer journey, email marketing, SEO, kind of the full stack digital marketing certification from Digital Marketer.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of looked at that. I did some of the courses for that program, but it was very extensive. It was a little bit more than I can handle. So it's great to have Jason on board as part of the team and have his expertise in all angles of digital marketing and online business. So over the next 40 minutes or so, we're going to be covering quite a lot of resources. And really this whole session is going to be talking about the different resources that you can use in your online business and how they all connect together. And very specifically, what you're using those different resources for in different phases of the guest journey. We talk about the guest journey a lot. One of the things we're really going to cover is the top tool for managing 80% of your business. And we've kind of already hinted at that one, but we'll come back to that shortly. What is available to help you with your team and guest communications? I love this one because it's free. We all love free stuff. So this is a great piece of software that we're going to talk about. And how to keep track of all your data in one spot. This is something we're discovering with our clients is quite often Google Analytics seems to be the go-to for everybody, but sometimes it can be just too overwhelming with all the options. So one of the things that Jason I should say, puts together is a pre-formatted, basically a dashboard, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But we have, the reason we talk about the tech stack in relation to book direct is because what we're doing is, when you're trying to get those direct bookings, we're actually replacing a lot of the functionality that the OTAs are doing. You're paying for that in the commission that you're paying to the OTAs. So you need to build that functionality that they have within their booking platform or within their marketing platform into your own business. And then the thing is, and we talk quite often about the OTAs and not building your business on rented land. And I always look at it like a house of cards, where all it takes is for, let's take Airbnb for an example. If you're relying on all of your bookings coming from Airbnb and they change the way they do business, and they just adjust one of those cards on the base level, it can actually cause your business to collapse. So it's really, really important that you kind of look at what we're talking about today and how you can implement these systems into your own business so you can move away from being completely reliant on the online travel agencies. We'd say that's about right, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. Now some of this functionality is built into some of your property management systems or your payment management systems, but we'll talk about it later. But there are some key advantages to building some of this your business operations outside of a couple of those booking platforms.
So, I mean, we talk about tech stack. I mean, I think it's a bit of it's kind of a bit of a not a techie term. It's a what do you call it? It's like a wow word.
A buzzword.
A buzzword. That's it. Yeah, and it gets thrown around quite a lot. And really, what a tech stack is essentially a system. It's a system of connecting together different resources, different pieces of your marketing machine, so they make things more efficient for you. This interconnecting network of different pieces of software. Now, Jay, you and I talk a lot with clients about these all-in-one systems, especially within PMS systems, where they like to add on. We do email marketing and we do email automation. But I think we've seen pretty consistently that generally PMS systems are great at booking, but they're not good at marketing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely one of the things that we see, and with every client, it's a little bit different and every PMS is a little bit different. But the ability for you to control your own marketing, regardless of whatever, PMS system or wherever, regardless where the booking came from, or all these other variables that can impact that. It's really key, especially when you start building out that book direct platform for yourself. And not only that, but how many times, and anyone who's I'm sure been a vacation rental owner or a property manager for 4 or 5 years, you've probably switched PMSs 2 or 3 times. And if all that stuff was built into one PMS, and I'm sure you've gone through it and having to migrate it all over to the new one, it's messy, it's a pain in the rear, and a lot of times it's because of the different systems, they're not set up identical. So again, for all those reasons, and not only that, but the additional power you get in taking some of these notifications offline or out of the PMS, we really strongly recommend doing your marketing in a marketing system, not a booking system.
I think the biggest thing is just compartmentalizing the different functions of your business. So should there be should that business sell up or be bought out or something changes, your entire system isn't collapsing because it's all in one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point.
It builds in that redundancy that you can actually only a small section of your business is having problems right now, not the whole thing. I think that's a big thing to take away from having a tech stack rather than all in one system. So with the tech stack, everything we do and all of the things that we do in our business is all about our guest customer journey. We use this image an awful lot in terms of taking strangers who've never found our business, moving them all the way through to actually having stayed in our properties and being promoters. And what we've done for this presentation is we've actually divided up all of the resources we're going to look at into those different phases of the customer journey. Now, as I was mentioning before, the OTAs actually, you're booking through the OTA. They take care of everything up to the point where they become customers. And then you really have to look after the fact, them arriving at your property. And then once they leave your property is then converting them to, people who are going to book direct and be promoters. But what we're going to talk about is, once you have, that guest, how do you going back to this look, how do you take them from strangers all the way through to promoters? So we use, we've got those phases right there, but within the business operations side of things, there's a part at the beginning for marketing and planning, and a part at the end for analytics and automation. And it isn't really a beginning and an end thing. Like, all of these things kind of overlay on top of each other. So just to give you an idea, this is the entire spread of what we're going to be covering today. And we'll move through it section by section. So let's kick off with the marketing and planning. Like, this is even before you start taking bookings or have a website. It's really the foundational stuff that you need to have in place. And just to let you know, we're not going to be covering every single one of these, because a lot of these resources you've already heard of, already know about. Or it may just be easier to hire somebody to do that particular task for you. So we're not going to be covering every single one of these, but we will cover most of them. So starting in the marketing and planning section, the very first one that we love, and Jason, you and I, like, we spend a lot of time on this platform, and this is our number one communication tool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Slack is a fantastic tool for anybody with teams, or if you're working with contractors. It really takes important communication or normal day-to-day business communication out of your email, out of your text messages, and puts it in one great flow. And that way things don't get lost, because we use it internally within the vacation rental formula team. We use it for clients. I use it for non-vacation rental clients. So it's a very customizable tool for communication within your team.
And the other nice thing about it is, I think a lot of people lean too much on Facebook communications, like Facebook messaging and things like that. But the thing is, there's a lot of people now who are moving away from Facebook. Like, especially if you have contractors, let's say you have a property management team, cleaning team, people like that, who may not just use Facebook. So Slack allows you to use a platform that's completely away from any social media platform. It's private. The messages can only be viewed by the people in your team. You can create channels and select, specific people on your team to be in those channels. So, if you want to just talk to, let's say, just your property management people, and you have, 5 or 6, if you're a bigger company, if you have 5 or 6 property management employees or subcontractors, you can contact them all at the same time with one message. So this is really good. And what Jason was saying about being able to search back through your messages very quickly, any files that you've been sharing. And as I said, the biggest thing is this is free. So definitely go and check out Slack, and that's just slack.com. Try it out. You can get the app for your phone, and it goes on the desktop as well. And it's super efficient. Really love this one. Next one, we talk about G Suite. We personally don't actually have the purchased G Suite platform, because we're a fairly small business. It's just myself, Jason, and Heather. So we don't necessarily. We're getting close, though. We're getting close to the point where we're going to need to purchase, a proper business G Suite account, because a lot of the stuff you get with your free Google. Your free Google account, things like Live Docs, shared drive, calendars. But one of the biggest things is coordinated team emails. And we've seen this with a lot of the businesses that we approach, is that as their business has grown, they haven't switched their systems to match the complexity of their business. So more specifically, we're working with actually a martial arts gym. So it's kind of completely out of the vacation rental side of things. But they have multiple locations, and they have multiple different parts of the gym business. But they're funneling everything through one Gmail account. And then it's being divided up inside, and it's very difficult to manage, who's doing what. It doesn't look very professional when emails are going out, as to, who they're coming from. It never feels like you're actually dealing with a person. It just feels like you're dealing with a faceless company. So, as your business grows, G Suite is definitely something to look into, and it is paid per user. So obviously, the more users you include, the more expensive it gets. But I think it's very valuable for being able to share calendars. If you need to do face-to-face, video messaging, you can. Slack's great for, you can actually do voice messaging through Slack. I think if you do the paid version of Slack, you can do video chat. But if you have it all in Google, then you can keep Slack for free. Anything you want to add on that, Jay?
Yeah, part of it is certainly the professionalism. How many of you guys have the info or the my vacation rental name at gmail.com or at yahoo.com. So a G Suite allows you to do the branded domain email addresses, which is great for consistency and builds credibility. And part of the reason we haven't done it yet is just because we have the tech insight on how to do it without actually doing G Suite. It's not for everybody, but if you have those skills, why not use them? So, but yeah, I have G Suite for my own business, and it's $5 or $6 per month per user. So it's really inexpensive to get all the online file storage, but most importantly, the email. That way it looks branded and professional.
Perfect. Okay, so moving on, another free one. This is free and paid. So that the free option has a lot of functionality. This is Asana, which is a team task manager. This takes a bit of getting used to, just because you can get lost in your tasks. So you can create projects. You can create, you can assign members of your team to different projects, and you can see at a glance, especially if you're the administrator, you can see who's doing what, where they are with their task list, where a project is, and it is great for timelines. So if you have any projects that you're trying to put together, especially marketing, typically with any marketing campaign, there are going to be multiple people involved. There's people who are going to be doing your copy, people who are going to be doing your images, and then you've got to do the tech side of getting it uploaded and doing your paid traffic ads and things like that. So this is a great way to actually task out all of the things that everybody in your team needs to do, and keeps everybody accountable. We still struggle with this a little bit, don't we, Jay?
Yeah, and some of that has to do with the changing complexity of our business model. But the other great thing about Asana is that once you kind of create a, let's say from a marketing perspective, you create a campaign for Valentine's Day, right? So you've got all these tasks or all these actions that need to happen as far as building landing pages, getting your lead capture set up, et cetera, et cetera. Once you build it, you can easily clone that for the next for the next holiday, for the next promotion. So that way you have all your tasks there already. All you have to do is clone it and change the dates. So it makes it really streamlining that process of not forgetting to go and do something.
The other nice thing is that Asana, going back to Slack is really good for having additional things that plug into it. So Asana can connect to Slack. So if you if you assign one of your property managers a task on Asana, it will actually send them a message in Slack to let them know there's a new task. And I think that's really valuable if you're just trying to keep down on emails being used and try and keep on the same platforms. Really good interoperability between these two. I also find it's really, really good if you have your cleaners or you have your property managers, and they can make a task list back to you. So if there are repairs that need to happen to a property, you can set your properties up as projects. And within those projects, you can actually have your pretty much anybody can assign tasks. Anybody can create tasks and assign them to somebody else. So this is a great way of kind of keeping tabs on things that are going on in your properties and any troubleshooting that needs to happen. Now, this was a big one. This is a pretty big budget item for basically a marketing calendar and social media scheduler. Scheduler? Which one do you prefer, Jay?
Scheduler from the US.
Scheduler
for you.
So we've been using CoSchedule now for about 2 or 3 years, and it's been very good for us because we're a small team. That when we create content and we want to share it out, and typically we'll create a social media post to share out whatever it is piece of content we just created. But that social post can actually be saved into CoSchedule and put on a repeat. So it'll actually be reposted again in 3 or 4 weeks' time. And typically, if you have quite a lot of content and you're constantly trying to be in the front and center of your guests' mind's eye, like if they keep seeing you post stuff, but you need to have a fair amount of content in there so it doesn't look constantly repetitive. If you just have 5 posts and they just reposted every week, it actually turns people off. So you got to be very careful about not being too repetitive. Make sure you're being consistent with adding new content and just building that library. So that way, if you have evergreen content that's relevant year round, you can do that. The nice thing is you can also schedule posts to go out as well. So if you are, doing a specific promotion, we were talking before, Jason said you can copy and paste your tasks in Asana. You can put in there, okay, schedule out these posts to go out on, day one of the campaign. And you can actually set up like a mini social media posting schedule that will go out through the course of a campaign. It's very effective, allows you to batch your time, because social media can really, really suck your time. So this is really good where you can spend like 2 or 3 hours, get all the posts done, get them all scheduled up, and then they'll just go out automatically.
And you don't have to do that from within the social media platform. So again, it kind of keeps your focus within the day-to-day operations of the business.
And we'll talk about WordPress in a second, but this also connects into WordPress. So whenever you create a new post on WordPress, there's a widget built right into the post creator, where you can actually, you don't have to leave WordPress. You can actually just do it right there in the post at the same time as creating that content. So it's very efficient that way. So that's everything. Those are some really good ones for foundation. And you can see in there, we've also got Trello, which is very similar to Asana, but just a bit more high level. So, you can, I use the free version purely just to move around big projects, from, ideas to on deck to, working on, completed, or on hold. And it's a bit like having sticky notes on a board where you move them from, column to column. I just personally use Trello for that. It's good for, just keeping an eye on big projects and what's coming up. Canva and Photoshop, obviously, if you're a creative kind of person and you're comfortable with doing images, Canva is obviously a cheaper free version. There are paid options in there. Photoshop is a lot more extensive. I personally, if you don't have the creative skills, find a designer. Go on to Fiverr.com, or if you've gone through something like 99 Designs and found a designer to create a brand for you, stick with those people, because typically they'll be very good at creating things like, if you have a document that you want to make look really pretty, convert it into a PDF so you can share that out with your potential guests. Those kind of people will save you a lot of time, and your time is valuable, especially if you're a busy business. Anything else you can think of in the marketing planning side there, Jay?
No, the biggest thing is just find something that works for you and your team. Obviously, these are tools that we're sharing to help you in that regard.
So moving on to attracting your potential guests or your traffic to your website. So there's attracting and there's driving. We're not going to cover in this session anything to do with Facebook advertising or Google Ads. You know what they are, you know what they do, and we use them. We saw a really good presentation showing that Facebook is where you go to attract your warm and your cold traffic to your website, where Google is where you go to retarget them to get them to buy when they're pretty hot and they're ready to actually make a purchase. And Google Ads we have found to be particularly expensive, so that's where you've got to be very cautious about what audiences you're putting into Google Ads. And yeah, we're not going to cover that, but certainly make sure that you have Facebook ads and Google Ads in your tech stack. And if you're not comfortable using them, we actually have one of the digital marketer courses where Jason got his certification. They actually have a really, really good course called Paid Traffic Mastery. So if you just Google digital marketer paid traffic mastery, that'll give you, it's an expensive course. It's about $500 or $600, I think. But that'll give you a really good insight in how to get started with paid traffic.
And one thing I'll point out too there is Google Ads. It has two different versions. You've got your Google pay-per-click through, like if you type something in to the Google search bar, vacation rental in Destin, Florida, right? So that's pay-per-click or keyword. That's keyword, Google keywords and AdWords. Then you have Google display ads, which is a lot more graphical. That's not just tied to the search engine. That will follow a user all around the internet, wherever Google ads are displayed. So there's two different versions of that.
So the one we're going to cover just on the attract here is about when you're creating content, and that's Yoast. So Yoast they have a free version, but it's very, very basic. But the paid version is probably the way to go. And really it covers everything SEO for your website. I find that a lot of us, more recently, SEO is becoming less and less of a top priority for people. because we tend to be focusing a lot more on pay traffic and retargeting people who already come to the website. But SEO is still, you should still keep it as a priority. But Yoast is a really cost-effective way of looking at analyzing your website, analyzing your content, and being able to make adjustments based on what Yoast is telling you to do. I particularly love it for creating content because it will analyze the header that I'm using in a blog post. It will analyze the content. It will analyze the way the post is laid out. And Yoast also has a really good library of training courses as well to kind of help you, in terms of how you're laying out your website, how it's being structured specifically, so Google is going to rank you higher on the page rankings. And one of the things that quite often gets forgotten is images as well. I've learned over time that how you label your images is just as important as the text that you're actually putting into the blog post as well. So yeah, Yoast is a really, really good one to look at, and I would highly recommend you can add that into your tech stack. All right, now we're into the meat and potatoes. Well, this is like the converting your guests is a really, really important aspect, and this is really the hub. This is what we're driving everybody to, is our website. So Jay, I'll let you kick off on this one with WordPress and Thrive themes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, WordPress, if you've been listening to the podcast or any of our trainings over the past few years, you know that we're big fans of WordPress. And it's just a great platform to build your own website on, your own company. And then Thrive Themes is a great flexible way to, basically style your the theme for your website and things like that, in addition to build landing pages, which is something that is we're seeing more and more in the vacation rental industry specifically, that landing pages just aren't used. Most traffic is driven to some type of property search page where you've got to put in your dates first and your number of adults, your number of kids, and honestly, from a guest experience, that's very clunky and actually really drives down conversions. So Thrive Things for us is huge for building those landing pages on your WordPress website. Landing pages to help streamline that process where you're able to maybe lay out instead of driving people straight to a property search page, you're able to send them over to a Valentine's special. These properties are on Valentine's special, or we're having a Valentine's special. Here's our deal. Here's the great places to go to, things like that. So I use Valentine's just because that's one of the ones coming up that probably isn't booked for, but you kind of get the idea there. So those two are huge in the world of creating your own brand online and be able to streamline any type of activity on your website.
And one of the things we talk about an awful lot, where WordPress comes into play, is making sure that you own and are capable of adjusting and making changes to your own website. We're seeing a lot of clients who are still using the websites provided by the PMS system. These are very rigid, don't allow a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can and can't do, especially when it comes to creating a new marketing campaign, for example. It's very difficult to actually funnel people to what you want them to go to. So that's why WordPress is the biggest website builder in the world. I think it's still the biggest, isn't it?
It's definitely got the largest market share for sure.
Yeah,
there are huge companies that want to run on WordPress.
And the good thing is because WordPress is so big, there are so many tools and what we call plugins that you can use to do a variety of different things in your website. If you're looking for some kind of specific functionality that you want to include, typically you can find somebody's created some kind of plugin for WordPress. Now, I'll be upfront here. We do have an affiliate link here for Thrive Themes. So if you are looking for a new theme for your website, it would really help us out if you went to vacationrentalformula.com/Thrive Themes. One of the things that I find a lot of people miss out the opportunity on is actually ad placement on your own website. This can be really handy, especially if you're a mid-sized property management company situated in one location. You can actually approach restaurants and activities and things in other businesses in the area and ask them if they want to advertise on your website. People are going to be coming to your website and browsing through for accommodation anyway. So why not sell for $50 a month? You can have an ad on my website. And built into Thrive themes is the ability to actually do ad placement and run ad campaigns. So that's a really, really valuable additional revenue stream that you could consider with Thrive themes. I'm gonna let you take this one, Jay. This is your baby.
Yeah, ConvertBox, man, this tool right here has completely changed the way that we do lead capture, and it's both on client sites and within the vacation rental formula. Um, Over the past several years, we've been big advocates of a product called Thrive Leads as part of the Thrive Themes brand, but ConvertBox has completely overtaken that. Your ability to target guests is absolutely incredible as far as making an offer for a particular holiday, making an offer for return guests versus new guests. Um, Creating mini quizzes or those little I like to call them mini quizzes, but be able to segment a property or segment a guest coming in and trying to figure out what exactly they want. Doing all that is absolutely incredible with ConvertBox, and most importantly, you can use it on just about any type of web platform. So if you're not ready to go full bore into WordPress and get your own website and stuff, you can install the ConvertBox script on your property management system website and still be able to use it. So that's really cool. Then in addition to that, so many times we talk about content and finding content in your area. With ConvertBox, you're able to send an email out to your audience, maybe talking about an event in the area, right, that they may want to register for or find more information about. But you didn't actually write that article. You found that on your local chamber site or another place. With ConvertBox, you can link them to that article that's not yours, yet have a lead generation opportunity on that website. So whether it's a pop-up or a little full page screen, whatever, ConvertBox can do stuff like that, and it's really changed the way that we look at lead capture and lead generation for new new owners as well. So if you're a property manager looking for owners, so ConvertBox has been a fantastic tool. And right now, it's actually it's a lifetime deal right now through I think through the end of the year is a lifetime deal. Otherwise, it's going to be a monthly subscription.
Yeah, so I think if you still listen to this in 2019, we believe it's going to be lifetime until the end of 2019. But if you listen to this after that, I think you might be out of luck because it'll be subscription based. But either way, this is still an amazing product. And one of the things I love about it, and actually before I say that, one of the things that ConvertBox kind of leverages is the fact that you can select to use pop-ups with ConvertBox, and pop-ups is like a dirty word when we talk about websites, and we all know how much we dislike pop-ups, right? But from a marketing perspective, they work 80% of the time, probably even higher than that, because it's a attention disruptor. It actually causes somebody to stop what they're doing, adjust their view, look at what it is that's popped up, and their brain could be somewhere else. They're looking at one property on your website, and they're currently thinking about the property they looked at on the last website. But that ConvertBox pop-up comes up. It's beautiful. Like it looks very professional. You can have a little image there of you or a member of your team. It's very personal. It looks so good, and it draws their attention to it and gets them to engage. Very effective. And again, with this one, we also have an affiliate link. So again, if you want to check out ConvertBox, vacationrentalformula.com/ConvertBox. And that'll give us a little commission if you buy. But we love this product. Now, LiveChat. Now, this is an interesting one because having some form of live chat on your website is very beneficial if you have the staff to man it. So really, we only recommend live chat for companies who actually have staff available. You can do this as a single, single owner, for example, if it's just, you and a partner or just you on your own, if you're willing to have the app open on your phone and be able to engage with people via chat. But there is nothing better for somebody visiting your website to be able to actually communicate with a real person quickly. There is nothing that will give you a higher return on investment and a higher booking rate than having live chat on your website. And we saw this with Heather's company this year, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We installed and activated it for the booking season, and it really made a difference in turning around guest questions, and giving guests the confidence to know that, hey, this is a real person. They are going to take care of me. So let's go ahead and book.
Yeah, and I think what was great too is, within the live chat system, you can actually get them to give over their email address, before they initiate the chat. So you're getting leads as well. If they want to speak to somebody, they give over their email address to allow them to have access to the system. And that allows you then to follow up after the chat with any additional information that they may need to help them to book. And that's something we don't talk about too much, actually, is the offline sales conversation. Is, the phone calls are still part of the business. Like, even though our tech stack is all tech and automated, and it's to make things more efficient and for you to do a lot more things with less manpower, but actually communicating through voice or through text messaging with your guest is invaluable. You really can't kind of put a price on that. So, and with this, so as I mentioned, there's the mobile app. You can do, you can actually set it up to it's automated. So if there is nobody available, let's say it's in the middle of the night, let's say you don't have a virtual assistant, across the world who monitors it at night, which I will say is actually very effective. Heather's rental agency does that. They actually have a VA in the Philippines who will be on live chat when everybody else is asleep here in Ontario, Canada. So that's amazing when somebody goes on and live chat is available at 2 a.m. in the morning. And we get lots of bookings like that. And the nice thing is that there's actually a scheduler in that as well, where you can actually schedule your staff and what time they're going to be on. And when they're available, they'll actually show a picture, if you select it to actually show a picture of that member of staff they're chatting to. So again, just that element of personability in there, which is really good. Is that a real word, personability? Did I just make that up?
If you did, it still sounds good.
So again, we have an affiliate link for this too. This is vacationrentalformula.com/live chat. So yeah, definitely head over and check that out. It looks very similar to ConvertBox, the way they present on the site, but they're very, very, very different in their functionality. Okay, so now we're moving into the nurture section, and this is where we get into the love of our tech stack. We talk about WordPress and our website being the core, but when we talked about the top of this session about a tool that will run 80% of your business, your CRM system, the system that you use to manage the relationship with your customers, is going to be the number one. And for us, it's ActiveCampaign. This is killer, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we talk about WordPress and being the core of your business, that's the visible side of your business, right? That's what clients see, or clients or guests or other businesses. That's what they see, right? ActiveCampaign is the core functionality of the invisible side of your business. So whether it's business operations, reminding you to reset door codes, or reminding you to touch base with your cleaner, whatever the case may be, in addition to all the marketing functionality it provides. So the sequences and automations and drip campaigns for guests who have booked but they haven't come into the property yet, to your nurture sequences to get them back into the property, to your marketing promotional calendar, right? So whenever you send out a broadcast email to your whole list, you can segment it up and talk differently and use different words and different verbiage and different images for people who have stayed at your property versus people who have not stayed at your property. It's really the core hub of your business as all the tools and all the day-to-day operations of your business.
Yeah, and it's incredibly user friendly too. I mean, I went through a phase of a couple of different CRM systems or email management systems. I started off with, I think, Aweber, and then moved from Aweber to a very, very high-end program called Infusionsoft, whereas I've now come to know as Confusionsoft, because there is just so much, so many elements to it to try and understand. ActiveCampaign was that perfect marriage between the two. And as time goes on, they're adding more and more functionality to ActiveCampaign, and I just find it very intuitive. I have experience with digital automation, but I think even if you don't, their onboarding is really good. They'll actually have somebody from their office will call you and walk you through how to use the platform. Really, really effective, and it's just such a valuable way of staying in contact with any email address that you have or any contact that you have. Is the fact that you can drip out information to them like all year long. And make sure that they're interacting with your business and your brand, and don't forget. And this is especially important if you're getting your bookings through the OTAs. Once you've got their email address, however you get that email address, once you have that, is to keep reminding that person every couple of weeks that you're still there. You have other properties for them to go and stay or visit. It's really important to this is one of your best ways to migrate people from that OTA booking thinking to more towards book direct. Now, again, like, we absolutely love ActiveCampaign. This is at the core of our business. This is the core of everything we do with clients. And you can check that out at vacationrentalformula.com/ActiveCampaign. All right, so now we're into the closing point, and we actually don't have any resources to cover here. We talked about Facebook advertising and Google Ads, and Google pay-per-click. We talk about that in the sales closing part, where we have retargeted those people. We're not going to get deep into retargeting, but essentially it just means that if somebody's come to your website, you can then present ads to just those people who came to your website and didn't book. Very, very valuable way of spending your money wisely with advertising. And we've got listed here Logify. We don't necessarily promote Logify. I think it's a good company, but I just put that there as a placeholder specifically for your own PMS. So whatever booking system you're using, that fits into the sale close. So you're going to be using a combination of everything that comes before this. So ActiveCampaign, ConvertBox, Thrive Themes. You're going to be driving everybody back to the booking page. We really advocate, and this is something we discovered, remove as many barriers as you can to booking. So don't have a booking page that's 3 pages long and they have to sign a contract and they have to take a photograph of the birthmark on their left leg. You got to make it easy. I mean, name, property, dates, pay, and then after they've paid and you have the money, then you can go into more stuff. So you're going to take a look at your booking system within your PMS and analyze that. See how many barriers there are to them actually securing that booking. Once they have booked, then you can kind of head into proof of ID and all that kind of thing. Anything you want to add on that, Jay?
No, I think that's an important thing to realize too, and it kind of goes back to what I was talking about with the landing pages instead of the property search pages, is removing those barriers. And this entire stack, or anything that you put in your stack, should have that kind of keep that in mind. How can I remove as many barriers as possible to someone making a booking, whether it is a technical view on a page, or a lot of times it's trust, right? It's confidence that you are a real person, this is a real property, things like that. So just kind of keep that in mind as we kind of finish up here.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to move through. So this last section, the analytics and automation, this is the real tech heavy side. This is your data geeks. So if you are not a data geek, if you are not the person who likes to dive into the depths of the numbers of everything that your system is generating, find somebody who is. Hire somebody, bring in an outside company. A lot of these tools here require certain skill sets that some people just don't have. And the thing is but they're pivotally important to your business. Like, you have to make sure that you're keeping a really good eye on what your machine is doing. This everything you've done before this. You want to know if you're paying, especially if you're doing paid traffic. You want to know what is happening with that money. Is that money actually generating people going to your website? Is those people who are going to your website, are they actually looking at pages? When they're looking at pages, are they actually sending an inquiry? Are they placing are they putting a hold on a property? Are they making a booking? Where is it through the system that they're leaving? And how do you stop them? How do you stop more people behind them from leaving at the same point? And this goes back to what I was talking about that booking page, about having too many barriers. When we started working with one of our clients, we discovered that there was, I think, an 85% drop off at the booking page. It was something
Yep.
astronomical.
Yep, exactly. So for 100 people that got to their booking page, only 15 of them booked. 85 of them left.
So, and they've actually clicked on a button that says book now or book here. So in their head, they've already made the decision that they are ready to book. They're ready to give you money. But then through the analytics, we were able to see that they've made that decision. They got to the booking page, and then for whatever reason, if there were too many fields to fill in, if it's going to take them 20 minutes to put this booking in, we have busy lives. A lot of people do this at work. You got kids running around, whatever. So as soon as we changed the booking form to those 4 key elements: name, property, date, and method of payment, we saw an almost a 90% rise in bookings for people who got to the booking page. And it was as simple as that. It was easy. It was a free change. But we wouldn't have known that without studying the analytics to see where people were falling off the system. So as we move into this section, the first one we talk about is Google Tag Manager. And I'll be honest, Jason and I were having a discussion before we went onto this call. And I asked Jason, what exactly does this do? And he tried to explain it. He says, you know what, dude, just delete it. We don't, we can't even explain it. But we did come up with it's a very important part of tracking, organizing your tracking scripts and your codes that you're putting into the website. As I said, this is very techy, very data orientated. If you have a web designer or some, not just a web designer, but somebody who manages your website for you, they should be using Google Tag Manager to keep an eye on all these things. Jay, is there anything you want to add on this one? I know it's a real sticky one to kind of explain.
Yeah, I would say the biggest real world example for most of you listening is probably if your booking system is managed by a third party, so you probably don't have access to the code to add scripts and things like that. So in other words, you probably have to contact them every time you needed to change a pixel or updates or add a new analytics tracking or something like that. Tag Manager allows you to do all that within Tag Manager. And you just have your booking company add the Tag Manager code, and you can make all the changes on your side inside Tag Manager without having to involve them every single time. So it's kind of a workaround, especially if you're a large property management company and you have to pay your payment system to come in and do changes every time something's touched. So this is a way around that. That's probably the most useful example within our world.
That was a beautiful explanation. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, and we did use that with one of our clients where the PMS that they were using, we couldn't get any data out of the PMS. We didn't know once they went from the WordPress-based website through to the PMS booking side of things to try and get information out of, okay, what did they do when they went in there? Did they book? Did they not book? Did they leave? All of that information we couldn't get until we add the Google Tag Manager, and then that enabled us to actually track a lot of the data kind of behind the curtain. Anyway, that's what Google Tag Manager is for.
Yep, and part of the importance of it was every time we needed something changed, we would have had to have the client open up their checkbook, write a check to that company every time something needed to be changed. So that's why we went with the Google Tag Manager, so that way we can make that change in-house without having to involve the company every single time. So again, it's a good way to use that if you're in that type of situation.
Perfect. Okay, so we have two here that are very similar. So Zapier and Integromat. So these are, we call them web application connectors. I mean, I actually call them the glue, like the glue of the internet. And actually Integromat, that's actually the slogan is called the internet glue, I think. You are a big proponent of these, aren't you, Jay? We use these a lot with systems that don't connect natively.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's absolutely, those two things are exactly how we can move data back and forth. And they're really built to help people move data from one system to another. So whether it's contacts or it's booking information or whatever information you want, it really helps them move back and forth without having to hire a developer to manually code. Every time scenario A happens in my business, I want scenario B to happen. So it's not, like Mike said, it's kind of glue, and it really helps to move data between systems nice and clean. Zapier is a little more user friendly. But at the same time, it's also kind of limited, whereas Integromat is highly configurable. And there's definitely uses for both of them. They both work really well with Google Sheets. So if you are the type of person who works kind of your pick list off of a Google Sheet, so to speak, you can definitely use both these tools with that to add it or subtract from it or take other actions whenever you complete a task on a Google Sheet. So yeah, they're very useful tools, and it's how we can connect multiple systems together.
Like what Jason was referring to about the Google Sheets. I mean, I know many companies who'll use this. They'll give their property managers, the cleaners, access to a Google Sheet that is populated from their PMS, but they use Zapier to connect the two. So essentially, what happens is somebody comes in, they make a booking, and without you or any member of your staff having to do anything, Zapier automatically takes that data and then organizes it and places it the way you want, the way you programmed it to, onto the Google Sheet. So that way your cleaner knows, there's a booking coming in on such and such a date at this property. They're going to be checking in at this time and checking out that time. Whatever information you want to provide, you can, program that in Zapier to be able to kind of move that across. And that works really well if you don't want your cleaner to have access inside your PMS. So if your PMS doesn't have that functionality of communicating with your property maintenance team. So it's a really, really good, very inexpensive way of utilizing one of these web application connectors. We talked at the top of the show about creating, there's a lot of analytics in Google Analytics. And you'll notice we didn't cover that because it's a very, very deep subject. Google Analytics, it's free, it's the go-to. But quite often, if you want to be able to have just something that sits on your desktop, where you can see day-to-day very quickly at a glance without having to search through a whole bunch of different functions and reports and all the different filters that you can put in place. Jason uses this piece of software called DataBox, which is a great way to display any performance data tracking that you want to see on a daily basis. And it could be something as simple as how many people visited the website? Of those people who visited the website, how many people became leads? Of those people who became leads, how many people actually sent an email? Of those people who sent an email, how many people actually booked? So you can see those percentages every single day and how they go up and down. And you can even, if you want to go one step further, you can actually display this on a TV in your office. So people can actually, your team can see on a daily basis exactly how they're doing on the sales front. There's a lot of tech built into this, isn't there, Jay? A lot of personalization that you can put into this.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it could go as far as if you've got you're running a particular promotion and you want to see how many people have claimed that promotion, or you can see at a glance again how many people are currently in cottage or in property, how many people are currently booked. Some of those key metrics to a business without having to dive really deep into your PMS or any other platform. Before then, it just puts numbers right there up top.
And we use this pretty heavily with our clients. Our clients we don't have the time actually to meet with our clients every single day to go over the metrics from the previous day or exactly every single day what's happening in the campaign. But something like this, we can create, what are the metrics they want to see? We can give them access to this and they can just see it at a glance whenever they open it up. Very, very easy to, it's a great user experience. That's what I guess what I'm trying to say. Anything you want to add on that?
No, that's it. It's just a great way to kind of keep things straight.
And then another one, which is very similar to DataBox, but is a lot more it illustrates a lot better how people are moving through your sales funnels. We refer to we use the term funnels a lot in the marketing and digital marketing world. It involves kind of, people come in the top of the funnel and you're trying to get them through to the bottom, which is where they're buying something. So this particular piece of software called FUNNELYTICS, it helps you to track and optimize your marketing funnels. So I talked earlier about being able to see where people are leaving your system, what is effective and what is not. So for example, with your convert boxes, you can see, if you're using 2 or 3 different ones for 2 or 3 different messages, you can see at a glance which one is being the most effective, which one is attracting the most opt-ins, the one that's giving you the most email addresses. But you can also see of those people who are giving you their contact information, how many of those are actually going through the system and converting. Because that's a big one. You might have one convert box lead capture, that is bringing in 100 people a day, but of those 100 people, you're only converting 2 of them. Where you might have a convert box that's only converting 20 people a day, and of that convert box, you're converting 15 people. So Funnalytics will allow you to kind of track what each of your, each of the potential guests who are coming through your website, what it is they're doing all the way through the chain.
Yeah, it's very visual. So when we think about a map, it's more like a flow chart. So you're able to add your various marketing pieces, whether it's email, Facebook ads, certain blog posts, etc., and see how people flow on your website with regards to that specific channel. So again, if you're looking for bookings over the course of a certain promotion, you can take a look at that data and see how people move from the initial lead capture to the landing page to the booking page and making that purchase. So it's very, very visual, so that way you can actually see the flow of your contacts and guests.
Good stuff. So that pretty much covers almost all of the different resources that we use within our business. You may have some of your own that you really love, and that's great. I mean, if they work for you in your business, that's the main thing, is that you found something that actually really helps make your business more efficient. And at the end of the day, just as long as you are improving the experience for your guests and improving your experience as a business owner, it really doesn't matter what you use, just as long as you found something that works for you. This is what we use and we recommend, and I hope this has been really helpful for you guys today. So we thank you so much for joining us for the last hour. We went a bit over our 40 minutes, but hopefully we've been able to provide you with some good insights. Anything you want to finish up with, Jay?
No, thank you guys so much for spending this time with us. Hopefully this can kind of shed some light on some areas of deficiency within your business and the proper tools that you need to make sure you get those areas under wraps.
So going forward, if there's any questions you want to ask us, you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/vacation rental formula. And you can find us there. You can reach out to us on Messenger, and we'll be quick to answer any questions. We also have a lot of these resources. We reference a lot of these as part of our action plans within the Formula Club membership. If you haven't yet considered being a Formula Club member, you should definitely head over to vacationrentalformula/join. And you can take a look at our membership options and see which one works for you. We have a library of action plans. So each one of these action plans is like a mini course, which kind of covers different elements of the vacation rental business. It could be marketing, could be operations, could be administration. We have a really good variety in there. And as well as that, we also tend to pull out small modules from our bigger courses. Jason and I created this course a year or two back called Vacation Rental Marketing 2.0. So we have a great course inside the Formula Club membership called Lead Generation and Email Marketing. So this really walks you through a more detailed map of exactly how to set up your lead capture, how to manage your email addresses, and how to keep up with those contacts and ensure that you are marketing to them on a regular basis. So if you haven't taken a look at that yet, head over to vacationrentalformula/join, and we'll hope to see you as a member very soon. So again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on our next training.